Thanks for coming in today. I appreciate it. You made it.
Not a very good Providence.
No, the traffic is kind of funky at certain parts of the day, and especially, this kind of school getting out time, so I appreciate your in.
Oh yeah, I appreciate
to talk with us. And again, you are the director of the Rhode Islanders Against Mandated HPV Vaccines, which we as know last session they mandated them, and now you're working to reverse that. I'm going to pull you a little closer over here and out of the sun.
Okay.
So talk to us a little bit. I mean, we followed the issue closely. Let's talk about where we're at in 2017. And in the General Assembly, who are your biggest champions, and how do you see this being able to move forward this year?
We have two really well-written bills on the Senate side. Both one is sponsored by Lou Raptakis and one is sponsored by Elaine Morgan, both of which HPV vaccine off of the mandated schedule, so it's private to do with going to school. Technology will also make it so that any future vaccine that comes down the pike for transmittable in a casual school environment cannot be mandated, so we're not in the same boat in the future with the same type of situation.
So having gone through what the debate and battle had been in 2016 and them having eventually passed it, do you see any political to overturn it this year? How do you expect them to these bills on the Senate side, again, having gone through what we went through in 2016?
Well, 2016 was actually not legislative to pass it. The Department of Health mandated it, signed it for 2014 to become effective in 2015. So legislative session got bills to try to reverse it and further study. And so now 2017 more bills, and we're hoping more we've been speaking with leaders, making lots of phone calls, so we've had a lot of the group volunteers doing a lot of behind the scenes for the last year and educating. So I think we have more support this year than we did last year by simply getting out there and having more time to get under the gun.
Now you work, day in, day out on the issue. You know the issue. You know your opposition to it. What do you have to say to folks who are opposed to you, who say, "Oh, well, give the kids the vaccines"? You hear it all the time. I'm sure you get opposition on every end of the spectrum. How do you respond to the opponents? What do you say to them that vaccinate the kids?
Go for it. If you want to. The issue is just about private choice, and that shouldn't have anything to do with going to school because you can't spread it in the classroom anyways. Even if you are positive diagnosis of HPV, you can't impact the classroom. So it's about saying, here's a line, don't cross it. You just went too far. It's saying we have to do something that should be private and doesn't have anything to do with school anyways. So if you want it, go get it. But we're saying don't make the parents decide when their child has to get it, because it's approved. They make it for 7th grade, but it's approved through age 26. So it should be the parent when they feel it's right.
So you talk about the schedule, and you say that the mandate is for grade 7.
For grade 7, boys and girls, yes.
And what is the scientific research say? Again, you said you can get it at any point up until age 26. So your argument is, again, the parent and the family should be able to decide if or when to do it and at which schedule. So speaking of schedules, we have these Senate bills that have been introduced. What are your awareness in the coming days and weeks?
Oh, well, we already have an pre-written email out there that people can follow our link from nohpvmandateri.com, and there's a link on there, an email to your legislators and your representatives saying that you support these bills that have already been set date. And once they do, because we also have a database that you can follow up with and a blog, we will post it and make it aware of when it is and how, because not everybody has done this before. So how do you support a bill? What do you expect? Are you going to testify? Are you just going to submit written? So we coach people through what their comfort zone is.
Now, how did you get to be sort of the leader in this effort here in Rhode Island?
I was working behind the scenes, not so much out in the public, talking to lots of different people about it, And then when it did become more publicly, everybody having a buzz around it, I connected with some others that were really out there trying to be loud and proud about being against it, against the mandate. And so it just kind of fell into place. I mean, I didn't say, all right, I'm going to lead this now, but it came about that way. And I'm somebody that once I start something, I'm not going to just back away and just hope somebody else continues. So I won't back away until the goal has been accomplished.
And what do you find amongst the folks who are opposed to the mandated schedule for the HPV vaccine? Do you find a spectrum of folks, talk about vaccines in general, is there a spectrum of folks about how they feel about vaccines schedules? Is it difficult to lump everyone who's anti-HPV vaccine into a group?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because you have people that their children are completely unvaccinated, you have people that do selective, and you have people, a huge group of people, that you choose every single other vaccine according to the schedule, but the HPV, and that is the one that everybody is just like, no, I'm going to choose this when I want to choose it, and it shouldn't have to do with my child.
So that you think that's the biggest contingent of the folks who are involved in this effort right now?
Yes, definitely. I mean, there's a spectrum for sure, but I definitely have a large group of people that just don't want to be told they have to do this vaccine to attend school.
And how many people do you think you have in the database that would be on board with the group? I mean, do you have a number you could say? I mean,
well, we have a petition of like 2,900 people that have signed the petition, and if you count social media following without me physically saying that they're the same as the people on the
you never know on social media.
So, and that's like another 2,000. So without knowing how much overlap there is, that's where the numbers lie.
And do you find that people can be, as we talked about the opposition, not so polite on social media? Have you found yourself coming under attack for taking this position?
Not exactly, because I don't come out and tell you not to get the vaccine. I've never ever said that. It's always been about the principle of the mandate and the Department of Health doing this without it going through the process and the legislation having any say in the matter, because we're one of only 2 states where the Department of Health gets that much authority. Lovely us.
Do you think that's reflective of just the small size of Rhode Island? I mean, why do you think that's the case?
I have actually been trying to figure out the exact answer to that, and I have yet to come up with it, except for the fact that we gave them the power like decades ago.
To be able to do that then?
Yeah.
So, Senator Raptakis, Senator Morgan, so basically just on your side, understand the issue of what you brought forth about being able to decide, again, when to be able to do the vaccine.
Yes, exactly. They were the same 2 senators that sponsored, and there's multiple co-sponsors on the bill too. For instance, offhand, Senator Kettle is one that I know offhand, and I know Senator Lombardi co-signed last year. Have to admit, don't know off the top of my head if he did it again this year, because I don't have them all off the top of my head. But they are very well-written bills that completely, like I said, they remove the mandate from the schedule, and then they have wording that the Department of Health can't just do this again for a similar type of disease. It has to be communicable, and it has to be able to be transferred casually in the classroom, or they will no longer be able to mandate it. So that's a huge, exactly what we've been fighting for. And and then it's just in place. They've put bills in on the House side. What's really important about Sherry Roberts' bill is that it's informed consent. Her bill adds an additional line that says when the schools send out any kind of a notice about any vaccine, that they have to state the 1-sentence liner that there are religious and medical exemptions in Rhode Island. Because there's a lot of school systems that use wording when they send out a notice that you don't have any kind of option. You don't even have a religious option according to the way that they word it, but really by law you do.
Is there any exemption from the current mandate, religious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, religious or medical exemption for any vaccine, not just HPV.
Do you have to prove your religiosity?
No, any personally held strong belief system. Is strong personal belief system.
So could it opt out of it at this point by using
a religious exemption?
Yeah. Have you talked with that?
Oh yes, there's tons. Also, the statistics already show it went average use to 4% religious exemption use. So we went up 4% after mandating the HPV vaccine. So that I
think it was a direct correlation.
Yeah, a direct correlation.
Pretty much a direct correlation. Well, I know you've reached out. You said you really wanted folks to be aware of it, again, where things are at the legislature here in 2017. And so urging folks that you want to just know more about it, come to the website.
Yes, nohpvmandateri.com, and the direct link to the auto pre-written email is endhpv2017.nohpvmandateri.com. You go direct to the pre-written email, send to both your legislators of Senate side and House side.
Anything else you think folks should know about as you're in here today about this effort? Again, looking to take away the mandate. You've got an audience here looking at you live, even after live.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, you're more than welcome to connect with us. We're on Instagram, Periscope, and Twitter at MyRightsRI, and Facebook.com/RI against HPV mandate, in which you can find every kind of link, including our blog at nohpvmandateri.com. Stay connected, but most importantly, know where your rights land and when it say enough's enough, draw the line. And don't be afraid to ask questions and of your doctor to find out more details. Don't simply go with the flow.
And you have a lot of medical professionals involved with the effort, do you not?
Yes, I do.
And they tell you their own personal opinions, perspectives of and the scheduling of when to do that.
Yes. We had a couple of different doctors speak last year at really should be that family, and not right for anybody to do it at 11/12 grade age range.
Any scientific, I know you said again you can do it up to 26. I know you're opposed to the mandate, but what's in it is about getting the vaccine at such a young age?
Well, some people are parental-wise not ready to have the sexual conversation at age 11, and they do feel, to be honest with their child about why they're being administered the vaccine, that brings up they do have to approach that conversation.
Yep.
And some people feel that conversation is better left until 13, and so that's where some parents have an issue. Mm-hmm. Also, some parents simply, like me, because neither one of my children are currently affected by this. My oldest is way past it, and my youngest is way not there yet.
So you get both ends of the spectrum.
Yes, my children are 10.5 years apart. So my momentum behind it is simply drawing a line in the sand. Like, there's a point where you don't have a right to use the school as the stronghold for something when it can't impact the school system. So there's other people on that perspective with me too, where it's just enough is enough, and that's the bottom line.
Well, as I said, I'm glad that you're able to come in today, share your perspective on the matter, let folks know where you can get more information about this. And again, the activism place again in 2017 here in the state to roll back that mandate, and as Aimee said, allow parents to decide when that vaccine should be administered for their children. So you can learn more information about it then. Keep us informed of what's going on up at the State House. Obviously,
yes.
let folks know what's going on a myriad of issues, but I appreciate your coming in to tell us a little bit more about this.
Thank you.
Aimee, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I'll chat with you when you're in the back of the studio back there. I'll wrap up here.